The Renault Duster may have pioneered the small SUV segment, but today it's the Hyundai Creta that's gone on to dominate that space. What you see here really is Renault's answer to the Creta. This is the facelifted Duster and it gets revised styling, a revamped cabin, some more features and for the first time even the option of an automatic gearbox. Let's see it in a bit more detail. First things first, the new Duster is available in this cayenne orange shade and I must say it does help spice up the look. But if you look closely, you'll note though the basic design remains unchanged, the stylistic tweaks freshen things up. The square headlights now get more intricate detailing and the grille gets a new twin slat design too. There's more brushed silver cladding too that seriously ups the Duster's SUV credentials. Fatter roof rails and new rear view mirrors with turn indicators also help bring the Duster's appearance up to speed. There are new black alloys as well, but wish the cheap lift type flaps had made way for proper pull type handles. At the rear, the reprofiled tail lamps get a very distinctive S-shaped LED signature and look really nice. The interior has been jazzed up as well. The new black and chocolate brown plastics help cover up the rough edges better, and you'll also notice more silver highlights and bits of chrome detailing that helps spruce things up. There's embossed branding atop the glove box and the center console gets glossy black plastics as well. Only those very familiar with the earlier Duster's cabin will note the layout of the center console has been slightly revised. The buttons for the hazard lights and door lock now sit higher up and are more convenient to access. On this note, the mirror controls that were formerly under the handbrake have thankfully been moved to the more traditional position near the window switches. However, the cruise control switches are still scattered between the dash and the steering column-mounted audio controllers continue to remain out of view. Equipment-wise, the top-spec Dusters see some additions like automatic climate control, there's a new reverse camera too, and voice recognition for paired iPhones for the touchscreen system. Curiously though, the Duster AMT doesn't get a dedicated dead pedal even though the footwell is spacious enough to accommodate one. The seats themselves are trimmed in richer fabrics and the driver's seat gets an armrest for added comfort. In terms of space and comfort, this Duster is no different to the pre-facelift version, which is no bad thing. Despite its flat contours, the rear seat also offers a good deal of support. As ever, the large boot will be a boon for anyone looking to use their Duster on long out-of-town excursions. As before, the Duster is available with a 102 bhp 1.6-litre petrol engine, an 84 bhp 1.5-litre diesel and a 108 bhp 1.5-litre diesel. Front-wheel drive is standard, though the 108 bhp diesel can also be had with all-wheel drive. What is new is the option of an automated manual transmission or AMT for the 108 bhp front-wheel drive Duster. Yes, you read it as easier, but Renault calls it easier, and well, it does make driving in heavy traffic less of a chore. At mild throttle inputs and in average driving scenarios, gear shifts on the 6-speed gearbox are largely predictable and quite timely. Gear shifts aren't the smoothest around, especially when you compare it with the traditional torque converter unit, but the good thing is that shifts aren't as abrupt as you'd get on a typical AMT gearbox. In fact, the Duster AMT swaps ratios quite progressively. Where the AMT does get caught out is when you press down hard on the accelerator, say to overtake. The gearbox takes some time to get to the right gear and there's just no escaping that head nod or characteristic AMD delay between shifts. The Duster Automatic also comes with Hill Start Assist, which allows for safe getaways on an incline. The EasyR gearbox does give drivers the option to shift manually as well. In manual mode, gear shifts are nicer, and what's good is that the electronics don't intervene with an upshift right till 5000 RPM. This is an important point because it gives you better control, especially through corners and on hilly roads. The AMT gearbox may have blunted the Duster's performance by a little bit, but the good thing is that the engine still has plenty of pulling power. Also, ironically, the AMT gearbox feels more comfortable on the highway rather than in the city. The tall 6th gear really makes it a very relaxed cruiser. As for other elements of the driving experience, there are mild improvements to the powertrain. The 108 bhp engine continues to impress for its good pulling power, and what's good is turbo lag has reduced and it runs quieter as well. There's less judder or kickback at the steering, which is something you typically experience while cornering on rough roads. Handling on the whole though is sure-footed and predictable, and the Duster's legendary ability to flatten bad roads is just as good. The AWD version that gets independent rear suspension is a touch more supple and sure-footed. With the update, Renault has addressed some of the lesser areas of the Renault Duster. The cabin is a little bit plusher than before, and top spec versions get a bit more equipment as well. And I think you will agree that the facelift has done its bit to freshen up styling. What's more, at the same time, the Duster hasn't lost its tough and honest appeal either. As for the AMT version, it doesn't provide the same level of smoothness or swiftness as a torque converter automatic, let alone a more sophisticated dual clutch transmission. That said, it still does provide the convenience of a two-pedal setup rather well. The advantage of an AMT, of course, is that this comes with no real impact on fuel consumption. But the bigger plus is the substantial cost saving. In all, it may not have the finesse or the sophistication of the Creta, but Renault has broadened the appeal of the Duster to give it a strong fight back.